We have spent months and months and months talking about the NFL and NFL best ball. While we were doing all that, there was somebody else out there crushing NBA content, just absolutely destroying the NBA scene. And today, I am going to bring on Mike Zakarian from Team Hold to help me catch up so that I too can start crushing these NBA best ball drafts. Let's do it.
Three, two, one, liftoff.
Mike Zakarian.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest, man. I haven't seen that intro video, and that is a vibe,
Isn't it? It is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like
Jesse
be on-
crushed it with the music.
yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like I should be. Is it cool to say Molly or MDMA? I don't know how you're supposed to say it now, but I feel like
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to have our own in-house, music producer so that we can get our own custom music here and pick from tracks. So Jesse absolutely crushing it behind the scenes for us, making us some good music. But Mike, it's been a while since we've talked, but what
yeah,
some
man.
people might not know is we've known each other, God, for so many years now. So many years.
Decades grinding the bar poker scene, and then the southeastern Massachusetts underground 50 and over poker scene. We go back, baby.
We go back quite a ways playing in those little $15 poker games, but here we are, both doing content, just sometimes a
Yeah.
really small world.
I know.
But as I said in the beginning, I've been so focused on the NFL that my NBA knowledge is not what it used to be. Like, so back when we were running around playing poker, I knew a lot more about the NBA then than I do now. So maybe as we wait for this contest to fill, you can kind of get us up to speed a little bit on what's going on in the NBA and how because I'm sure you're pounding these best ball tournaments. How are you implementing it into tournaments currently?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of weird things happening. Everybody's mad at each other. Feels like if you're just on Twitter, there's a lot of NBA drama right now, and we're still waiting for like the James Harden stuff is weird because I think James Harden would have been, I don't know, mid to late second round, early third round pick pretty easily. But now we're like, is he going to play for the Sixers? Is he going to play for another team? Is he just not going to play? The Damian Lillard stuff where you're like, I like him if he's going to start this season in Miami, but he still hasn't been traded yet. And we're only a month away. So there's still like some stuff that's, hanging in the balance. But what I like about it is I feel like you just like make a stand, right away and just like lean into that pretty heavy. So that's kind of how I've been approaching it with the not having all the information yet, just kind of like planting some flags early. And then if we're right, it's awesome. And if we're wrong, it's good content.
It feels like, so again, we were doing all the NFL and we do this with the NFL as well, but it feels like taking these stands in the NBA are going to be a lot more crucial to getting right on your best ball teams just because of the nature of NBA best ball. So you could take a stand on a guy. Like I have a stand on J.K. Dobbins, right?
Yeah.
He goes down with a knee injury. I have 30% of them in best ball mania.
Oh,
It sucks. It
Yeah.
sucks, obviously. But the thing is, like, I think you can make up for that if you're constructing teams properly.
right.
If you're taking Damian Lillard at like a 30% clip or something like that, I mean, and
So-
he doesn't get traded or doesn't play, or like James Harden's probably a better example.
Yeah.
It probably tanks your teams way harder than it does in NFL.
The thing that I've been doing with Dame is that like I think the people who are getting drafted around Dame are going to put out similar output. Like I feel like they're going to be kind of close. So if you're fading Dame, I don't think you're necessarily tanking yourself unless you're like taking Devin Booker and then Devin Booker gets hurt. But ultimately, those guys in the same, they're going to have like same range of outcomes, I think. So what I've been doing instead is using that stance on the guys in the back end. So if I think Dame is going to leave, I'm going to boost up Scoot Henderson a little bit, Shaden Sharp, Anthony Simons, like the ancillary pieces of the Portland Trailblazers that will get a boost from Dame being not being there anymore. So that's kind of how I've been trying to approach it. I haven't touched James Harden. Honestly, I've been pretty out on the Philly scene in general, just because it seems like it might be a shit show. But yeah, that's a good point. Like there are ways to in the NFL to build around that, where the NBA, it is a little bit trickier. So I've just been straight up avoided. Like, I think I have one share of Dame so far. I think I've done 35 drafts maybe. And I've got maybe one share of Dame, one of Embiid, definitely none of Harden. And that's kind of how I've been going at that way.
In terms of simple strategy, how much are you team stacking in these NBA best ball contests? Is it something you're prioritizing, or does it just not matter?
No, I don't think it matters too much unless you think there's like sometimes if I think a team is going to play no defense, and
Mhm.
so where it's going to be a lot of like 130 to 125 type games. I might like try to take a couple of pieces from the team. Like OKC, someone that I feel like is going to have a pretty tight rotation this year, so I'll take SGA and Giddy on the same team, or Jalen Williams or somebody like that. But I'm not. It's definitely not something I'm going out of my way. It's just like if it falls into it, it falls into it. One other interesting thing this year too, because like big strategy for me last year was figuring out what like the playoff teams are going to look like. So when we kind of like a week 17, right? Except for this, it's like, wow, the Thunder play 5 games during the playoffs and the Rockets play 3. So I'm going to prioritize Thunder, but they kind of adjusted they adjusted it. So there's like a regular season. There's still like a playoff component of it, but most of the prize pools in the regular season. So that changed it a little bit. And now you don't have to worry about teams tanking as much either. So all that is good. Wow, we're almost full. Look at that.
Almost full. Just need one person to hop in here. We'll get in on this draft. So I don't do much of the regular season stuff, but playoff NBA best ball
So fun.
might be the most fun format in all of best ball that there is.
Yeah.
And I would have loved it a lot more last year if you had just let me win our grouping and advance to the third round. But I had to look in the one team that I advanced to the second round. Mike Zakarian is sitting up there with just a slightly better version of my team.
Can I tell you? I mean, it ended up ultimately not being a fun run out, but so I maxed it. I did 150. I got 53 lineups through in the first round of the 150. So I immediately was like, oh, I'm winning this thing. Right? I got a 33% advance rate. And then still, I think I advanced 15 into the semifinals. And then one dead lineup got into the finals. I was devastated. I was devastated. Ooh, the second pick. That's fun.
We are full here. How do you feel about getting the second pick on this?
I think I either want the top 3. Actually, I kind of like the top 5 too. But this is good. I mean, starting out with Jokic, Giannis, or Luka is always pretty easy. One thing that I've been doing, also, I see CityWalk saying I think it's a bad idea to take players on the same team that play the same positions. Yeah, I think that's fair too, right? So if you're taking SGA and Giddy, it's maybe not as peak. The only time I like it, like I feel like SGA and Giddy play at the same time and play similarly, can both still have upside, so I don't mind it as much. But ultimately, I agree with that. Like, there's no reason to be going out of your way to draft guys on the same team.
Gotcha. Just gonna sign into our stuff so that even though, can you just do what I want you to do? Thank you. Even though it's not going to show anything, we will have our Spike Week tools up and going.
So one of the things that I've been doing is if I don't get one of these top bigs, right? If I'm not getting a Jokic, an Embiid, Anthony Davis, and I guess Domantas Sabonis as well, I'm not taking a big for a while. I think I don't know. If you have a preference between Giannis or Luka, totally up to you.
Well, if we're going by the thing that you were talking about, we're seeing 4 games in week 15 and 17. Would that skew you at all? Or week 23, I mean?
No, I don't know. Not too much. I don't think so. I don't think it would move
You
it
tell
too
me who you like and we'll grab them.
Let's take Luka. Let's take Luka here. We'll be a little different.
Okay.
Usually I think I would take Giannis here only because I feel like it's easier to get guards than it is wings a little bit later in the draft. But I also I like the idea that Luka's just gonna win MVP this year. So, but yeah, what I was saying too, I think like with bigs, if I get one of the elite bigs, I'll take 3 total in the draft. And if I don't, I'll probably take 4, but it's all just kind of middling guys towards the end.
Gotcha.
Is this your first one?
This is my first one.
Nice.
I was going to do one last night, but I was like, you know what? I think it would be better for the show if I just absolutely come into this and have somebody help walk me through it, as some
Yeah.
people, as we see in the chat, people are just they're looking for this content. They haven't really done these drafts, and I think having, you know, you lead the blind, which is me,
Yeah.
through the draft will
I
help some of the other people.
I mean, there's legit not a lot of NBA best ball content, and because of that, I feel like these fields are pretty soft.
Mhm.
Or not soft. I just don't think anybody knows. I think it's just like, oh, I guess I'll see how I did last year and then compare results, because I don't think there's a lot of people breaking stuff down.
Gotcha. I do like that on our little tool here. We do see the games for what looks like the playoff weeks. So
Yeah.
shout out
But
to Hacker for putting that in.
yeah. But yeah, just a reminder, the majority of the prize pool is in that regular season. So there's like, I think it's like 75K up for first in the regular season. And then it's
Oh,
like,
is it?
yeah. And then it's like 10K is up for first in the playoff thing. I think because there's just so much variance when you like, who's going to tank, who they just like, they're tanking because they're trying to lose. They're tanking because or just resting guys before the playoffs. So
Yeah.
it got a little dicey there.
It probably makes more sense to do that in the NBA, because I know a lot of people got angry about the regular season stuff for NFL.
Yeah.
But to those points you brought up, it probably makes a lot more sense to do the regular season payouts in
I think
NBA.
I think it was 2 years ago. I had two different teams make the finals, and they
Mhm.
were built around Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Devin Booker, and both the Suns and the Thunder rested all their guys so I like finished the last two spots or whatever in the finals, which was so disappointing.
That
But
sucks.
yeah. Also, I see who we say City Walk is in this one. He's Epson 988. So who did he take with that first pick? He took LaMelo there. Nice.
Any under the radar players, I mean, as under the radar that they can be, that you think are kind of mispriced? I guess let's word it that way. Anyone a little mispriced in this first or second round?
I think it's kind of nuts. I'm not saying it's bad pick. It's a bad pick. I think it's nuts that Sabonis is going 8th overall.
Mhm.
I think that's eighth, right? Yeah, the 8th spot. I mean, I like
Yeah.
Sabonis, and most of that Sacramento Kings offense is concentrated between just Sabonis and Fox. So you do like that. It's just when you look at the guys that are being taken after him, KD, LaMelo, Halliburton, Kerr. I mean, like he went before Anthony Davis. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get it. He's a little bit like there's health risks in some of the other guys that we labeled, but I do think that's kind of nuts. Like I don't know if I'm taking Sabonis there. But I get it. I've been honestly the hill I'm gonna die on, which I'm most likely it's gonna end in death. Uh, Zion is going like pick 29 to 32, something like
Mhm.
that. And I mean, I get it, man. He misses so much time, but man, if he can fucking string together a few months of basketball, he's incredible. And I feel like he is a top 15 pick that's going 30. So I'm way overweight on him, and I know I'm gonna hate it so much.
Yeah, what kinda happens with guys like that in all formats, where you just end up, you kind of almost take lock yourself occasionally,
Yeah.
and it could be good, it could be bad. I have quite a few of those guys in NFL that I just, like, take locked myself, and sometimes you don't even realize you're drafting them so much
Right.
too, right?
Well,
Because it's just like,
I got an example of that, and it will probably hurt you a little bit, but I have 23% Gus Edwards.
"Oh, I have a lot of Gus Edwards."
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess because if you had so much JK, you had to do it. But I just kept clicking him in the 16th round
Yeah.
or late 15th. I just kept clicking him.
Yeah,
Um,
I had, like, a month of that too. Like, if I wasn't getting JK, I was grabbing Edwards as, like, my last or second to last running back, so I have
yeah.
a decent amount of Edwards too.
Also see Numi from Badge Bros in here. I love that start of Anthony Edwards and Anthony Davis. Like getting Davis at it was at 18 is pretty solid.
It's too bad that Carmelo Anthony retired, or you could have gotten Carmelo Anthony
Oh,
to
that would have been great. That would have been
build
great.
the perfect Anthony team.
All
All
right, what
right,
do we got here next?
so we're looking at like Bridges.
I think I like Fox and Mitchell here. I'd like one of those. I think like Wembayama is going to be awesome. I think he's going to be fun. I mean, he's played 0 NBA games so far, and we're taking him 20th overall with an ADP.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, man. I feel like that's just asking to get blown up.
All right. So which one do you prefer? Do you prefer Fox or Donovan Mitchell?
I actually think I prefer Donovan Mitchell here.
Okay. That's where I would have said, but
Yeah.
I also am not as plugged in, so I didn't want to sound like a complete moron,
No,
but
you know what?
Mitchell feels right.
I'm honestly probably splitting the difference every time. So
Mhm.
taking Fox 1 week, Mitchell the next one. Um, I see K Sizzle. What do you say when it comes to lineup construction? What would you suggest that the max min number of players at each position you would draft? Um, and then actually, yeah, Mark replied with, I like what Mark said there, 763. Yeah, if I'm not getting a big in like the first 5 or 6 rounds, that's probably then I'd throw a fourth big in there,
Mhm.
and I'd maybe go 664. But I like the 763.
What are we looking at here? Because we already have 2 guards.
So I don't know. Maybe we don't have to take Zion here. I like Fox or Paulo here. I still don't want to take one of these bigs yet. So if we want to get Fox, we can do that. Or if we want to get Team America's Paulo Banchero, second year, maybe we get the second year elite. But I'll
Do you
let
pref
you pick that one.
Well, would you rather have 3 guards or would you rather have a wing?
Oh yeah, get a wing, get a wing. Sorry, I thought we went wing guard. I forgot about that. Yeah, let's get Paulo here.
I wasn't sure if you were doing some sort of, like,
Giga
team
guard
where
stack.
yeah, just going with the crazy guard situation, which,
Oh,
hey, I'm fine with trying, like, all kinds of different strategies as we build through these teams.
No,
Uh,
no, no, definitely Paulo right there was the pick. I like that 2-1 star. And then honestly, I'm probably going to keep just hammering guards and wings unless somebody falls nicely to us. And because I feel like there's enough bigs late in the draft that are still pretty serviceable.
I actually just think it's a travesty that they didn't let Jaylen Brown fall back to us in the second round.
Yeah,
Um,
that would have been
as
fun.
as 2 Boston guys, they should have allowed us to get one of the homegrown talents in Jaylen Brown. My thumbnail guy actually sent me
Absolutely.
a thumbnail for us, and it was purple and yellow, and I said, "This thumbnail is great, except me and Mike Zakarian are both from Boston, so
Yeah, you can't.
we can't do a Lakers thumbnail color." So I actually one of the few times I made him change the thumbnail. As we go through this, if you see anything that jumps out to you as out of the ordinary or whatever, let us know because I am not familiar with
Yeah.
the ranks right now.
I
Um,
see Adam Clev there with the Cade Cunningham pick is pretty solid. I like that.
mhm.
I think Cade's due for like a really monster year. Everybody's been hyping him up so much this offseason. He's practicing with the or playing with the select team, which is like the JV team of Team USA. And Steve Kerr had him playing in the Luca role so that Team USA could get ready to play Slovenia. And apparently he was just like carving up the main
Oh,
team.
really?
Yeah, so that got me pretty hyped for Cade. I think Numi getting Wemby at 31, like that, I'm fine with that. It was like when he's going 20, it seems nuts to me. But in that spot's pretty good.
Here's a question then. So when Numi gets to go Anthony Edwards with Davis and Victor here, with 2 bigs like that, would you ever just stick to the 2 bigs and just fire the other positions, or are you still
I,
just gonna go 3?
I don't like it. I think what I would do, I mean, like, I just don't like taking Wemby. I forgot that he had AD. I wonder if that was just like he's 10 picks behind ADP. I have to take him here. But
Mhm.
I'm not taking another big till maybe my last pick.
Okay.
Um, or not last pick, but like super late. I think
Mhm.
like I mean, I guess there's you have Anthony Davis who famously likes to go to the locker room at half or get in the middle of the game.
Yeah,
So maybe that's like some Anthony Davis insurance, but yeah, I don't know.
gotcha. That'd be one of the things that I'd be interested in. I think there was something I was kind of trying to figure out last year, and I just didn't draft enough teams to really figure that out, is if I went with 2 early bigs, if that was just fine. And I guess
So
maybe to your point, it depends on who.
in the playoff structure format, I liked it more because like say you're taking Jokic. I mean, it doesn't matter what position Jokic is. Jokic is like auto gonna be your like number one guy. He's scoring the most. So if you get like another solid big and it's based on like the team advancing, then
Mhm.
I'm like fine with it. Um and I guess that's the true for Anthony Davis and Wemby too, that he's just assuming that they're gonna score anyways. Like they'll be one of the flex spots more often than not.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe that is something that you just fire an extra pick. Like if we had gone well, I guess we wouldn't be able to go 3 guards, but if we had like some decent guards or decent wings, maybe you just fire an extra one at that inverse position
Right, right.
and play the 2 bigs. So this is
Um,
me trying to learn things on the spot and
no, that
figuring
was
things
good.
out.
That was good. I like that
Um,
Jamal Murray pick from line of scrimmage there, 41. I love Jamal.
let's do this. Let's bring the board a little back. If make sure everyone can still see that. Let me know if you can't. We are about to be on the clock. We're seeing DeMar DeRozan, Chet Holmgren, Deontay Murray, Darius Garland, Zach LaVine, Ja.
Yeah, I think only because for the wing nature of it, I would do either DeRozan or Chet Holmgren. Chet's like the last big that I like. Well, Chet and Şengün. But I think, you know what? I think we get the wing because there's a pretty big wing drop off here. I think we get DeRozan. And
Mhm.
then we have a couple of big options on the way back if we want to. We could go Chet Holmgren or Alfred Şengün are the two guys that I like the most there. Um,
Seru also has a big already, so that might make
yeah.
Chet push down. So we'll grab
Yeah.
DeRozan.
And people might hate the Chet take. I'm a pretty big Chet believer. I think he's going to be really good for that team. And I'm not really too worried about all of the rest because I think they could have brought him back sooner, but like really pushed it. So I also saw Charlie, line of scrimmage, who's in this draft. I was shouting out his pick. He said, how does age play into micro player takes in the NBA? Is there an age cliff? Yeah, I don't know, man. I used to think there was, and then everybody's been sleeping in cryo chambers or whatever, and now you can play until you're 38 and be dominant. All right, so
And
let's look.
resting every other game. And
Yeah.
so he
So
does
yeah,
go Chet.
I think I kind of like I like Desmond Bain quite a bit here.
For a
Because
third guard spot
Yeah, John Morant's gonna go for a while, or we just take Şengün, who I think is gonna be like, he's just an offensive monster.
and a preference.
Let's go Goon. Let's go Goon.
All right, let's do it. All right, so that gives us one of our bigs. So we're 2-2-1 right now,
Yeah.
which is pretty balanced, I would say.
Yeah, I
Not
don't
overloading anything.
curious if anybody in the chat if they would have gone Bane there instead, because Bane goes right after, right?
Mhm.
And I do like Desmond Bane a lot, but now we can like kind of settle in and take the bigs as they come to us. We don't have to start to like freak out and pick round 7 that we don't have one yet.
Yeah. Which always, when I was drafting last year, felt like one of the things that happened to me consistently was I always felt like I boxed myself out of bigs
Yeah.
and was never comfortable with it. And
Hmm.
I don't know if that's just because the position it just feels really light to begin with. And if you're not getting Jokic or Embiid last year, it felt like a
Yeah.
big drop off after that point, to be
It
honest.
is. It is. Because I include, and you can include Towns too, Bam Adebayo if you want. But I mean, you look at the guards and wings that are going right now, and you're
Mhm.
seeing like in that same round that Chet went, it was like Jamal Murray, James Harden, Kyrie, Garland, now DeJounte Murray. Like these are like all-star caliber guys in the guard and wing position, and we're taking fucking Alfred Şengün. So there is a pretty big drop off. But look at this guard run
I
right
was
there.
just looking. I was going to ask you if this is sort of standard or not, where we're just the 5th round is all guards except for us taking Sangoon and
And Vucevic,
Vucevic going
the
afterwards. Now
Eastern
we're starting to
European
see it.
guards. I mean, bigs. Yeah, I did that's wild. I don't think I've ever seen that. Maybe we saw some wings go a little bit earlier. I don't know.
Well, we went with the wing with DeRozan. Kuzma went that round. Brandon Ingram. But yeah, that
Yeah.
seemed wild.
Yeah, I missed that Scotty Barnes, Franz Wagner, Jimmy Butler run there too. Yeah, that was pretty nuts. But see, now you're like forced to taking like these guys, like you got to, I got to take Nick Claxton or I got to take Kristaps Porzingis, and I just feel a little less comfortable, even though both of those guys are really good. I don't know.
Yeah, we still don't know how Porzingis is going to fit into the
His
Celtics.
shoes, yeah,
Yeah.
just the sneakers.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect with that. I mean, it feels good theoretically, but I
Yeah,
mean, there's also
I,
a reason he's
I
not hasn't stuck with the team.
right. I was just a big fan. It seemed like the Celtic stuff had run its course. Everyone was calling for change, and then they changed, and everybody's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like,
Well,
it's
I thought Marcus Smart had to go personally.
yeah. I thought it was done too.
I just, I loved Marcus Smart as a player here and everything, but it felt like time that they had to move on from somebody, whether it be a big splash with moving on from Jalen Brown,
Yeah,
um, who looked like absolute dog shit in the playoffs,
I know.
but it felt like it definitely had to at least be Marcus Smart at the minimum. So
Yeah, they had to do
yeah.
something to share. I mean, look, everybody. That's the thing that was killing me about the heart and soul conversation. Everybody was saying that the heart and soul of the team was broken. They had no mental toughness, and then they trade away Marcus Smart. They're like, "Well, the heart and the soul." It's like, well, which is it?
Yeah, you have to
Um,
have it's one or the other.
so this
All
is
right.
a weirder spot. I actually kind of hope they just take OG Ananobi so we don't have to think about it. But I I kind of like Andrew Wiggins more than Ananobi, and like Toronto is in this weird spot too, where they're like there's these weird trade rumors that they're getting ready for Giannis if Giannis gets moved, or they're getting ready for Dame, and
Mhm.
he's just always hurt. I think I oh wow, Keldon Johnson, that interesting. Um, I think I'm taking Wiggs here. I think they're going to lean on Andrew Wiggins.
All right, let's do it. You're not gonna see me push back on taking a Golden State Warrior.
And I like getting a wing there too. Maybe we either get another wing or a guard here with our next pick, but we have Luca and Donovan Mitchell, and they are going to just put up points week after. Like I'm not really worried about that guard spot.
Yep.
So
All right.
I also really like Jalen Williams from OKC. So if OG Anunoby goes, and I don't want to take Miles Bridges because he beats women, so I feel like that's a good stance.
Yeah.
Um, I'll let you decide on this one. You want to take a wing in OG Anunoby, or you want to snag Jalen Williams, the second year guy at OKC?
Um, you think we should probably take the wing here and then backload guards since we do
Yeah,
have Luca
yeah,
and Donovan?
I like that. I think it's the right take. I think I have a soft spot for J Dub, so I try to draft him as much as I can. But I think this is that was the right move right there.
Yeah, it just feels like to your point that you brought up, Luca and Mitchell should theoretically be hitting our lineup
Yeah,
very, very consistently. And
right.
we kind of push guard, not a ton, but a little. I mean, we push wing, not a ton, but a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
no, I think that's right because, like, speaking of age cliff, who knows what happens with dudes like DeMar DeRozan. Um,
mhm.
so yeah, I think that made sense.
I guess my question for you would be, why were Gobert and Ayton not even part of your thought process there
I
for
just
a
don't.
second pick?
I don't think they have upside there as opposed to dudes like OG. And Rudy, like I don't know what's happening with Minnesota. I think Rudy's fine actually. Rudy is like whatever, man. He's probably going to get you 10 points, 14 rebounds, maybe
Mhm.
like 3 stocks a game, right? And that's serviceable from that round. I'm a little nervous at how Minnesota's going to play with Anthony Edwards like blowing up a little bit here, and he's said like, "Hey, there's too many pigs on the floor," and they still
Yep.
have Karl Anthony Towns. So I don't know what's going to happen with Rudy and DeAndre Ayton. Man, Bradley Beal, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker. Like that's going to be 70 points a game, and so what is Ayton doing? So I don't know. Maybe there's some ceiling on Aiton that I'm not seeing, but like here, let's go back to can we go back to like the bigs that are available?
Sure.
So if we look
So,
at oh, go ahead.
so my question also would be just to go into this as we look at them, we see like Jaron Allen, Valanciunas, Jalen Duren, Wendell Carter Jr. When you're on the end of a draft, so like in football, there's guys that I will pull up
Hmm.
for specific reasons. Like if I like them a lot and I can pull them up to get some unique combinations, especially on the ends like this.
Yeah.
Are you doing that with specific players or specific positions to just try to get some unique builds and also doing it while getting guys that you like maybe more than an Aiton? Is that something you consider?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I right there, if I'm taking 8 and I'm not taking a couple of other bigs I'm about to throw at you right now, where
Mhm,
I'm going out of my way to get guys like Wendell, like this run of Wendell Carter Jr., Brooke Lopez, Mark Williams, and then a few down Nyeka and Kongwu. I
mhm.
really like I feel like they're going to put up similar numbers as someone like DeAndre Ayton or Rudy Gobert. And you're getting it way much lower. So I'd much rather not waste a pick there. I feel like that's how I'm getting unique, is by not taking any of those bigs in there. When we get to the later rounds, I am definitely reaching for some guys who, because again, like I said, how I ended up with 25% Gus Edwards or whatever it was, that was just
Yep.
from lazy clicking of what I got comfortable with. So I'm trying to force myself to find some new dudes. And then as I see their ADP rise up, I move off them. So I've been I'll throw a couple names out, like Bogdan Bogdanovic of the Atlanta Hawks, who was like slowly coming back from injury for a while. And you can get him in the last round right now. And he looks like he's healthy. He was like dominating in the World Cup. And so I was trying to like work him into a bunch of drafts, but now his ADP is rising. So I'll slow down on that a little bit. But yeah, I am trying to, like, late in drafts, trying to move stuff around a little bit.
Well, that's what we kind of talked about, Eric and myself, with like rounds 14 or 15 through 18 in the NFL drafts, is why does ADP matter there at all, to be completely honest? Like, so I know myself particularly, because you do get the Gus Edwards thing, which I got on for a bit with Gus Edwards and a couple other players. But instead of taking Gus Edwards frequently, I can start getting unique combinations of players like we liked Puka, we liked Keontae Ingram, we liked Kyron Williams, and getting those players like in the 16th round. Why does it matter?
No,
So
I totally agree. I mean, because I think there's some safe picks. Like, there's guys that that are going to be out there, and I think you just start doing the game. If this is true, what else is true, right? And so if you want to take some shots on teams that don't have a ton of depth, and you're like, well, what if this dude misses a couple of weeks and all of a sudden this team sucks? Now they're like a perfect. Oh, I'll wait till we pick here. So we got. Oh man! All right, you know what? Let's go hometown heroes. Let's go grab Derek White right now. I think Jaden Ivey and Austin Reeves are great picks here. But I love what Derek White's going to do for Boston, especially because Malcolm Brogdon's out there, really pissed off that they traded him and it didn't go through. So I like Derek White a lot.
And honestly, they get rid of Marcus Smart as well, so that's even more run for Derek White. Derek White was actually probably one of the best players for them in the playoffs, and it wasn't particularly close. So yeah, I like the Derek White pick.
I honestly think with our next one, Jaden Ivey is really sexy right there. But I do think we probably need to grab a big here, maybe grab our second one. And I think I'd prefer Wendell Carter Jr. down there for Orlando.
So you're just completely out on Valanciunas then, because he's 12 to 13 picks, and trust me, I don't care.
Yeah,
I'll take the guy that we prefer. But that just kind of shows your stance on that particular player, right?
Dude, so the Pelicans would go away from Jonas when Zion wasn't playing. Like, Zion missed basically from January on, and Jonas, like, down the stretch, there'd be games where, like, because he'd be a smash spot play in DFS, and then I'm blanking on the coach, Willie something. Wow, I can't remember Willie's last name. Willie Green. And then Jonas would play like 4 minutes or 9 minutes, whatever it was, and he wouldn't do anything. I don't. And now we bring Zion back into it. Are they going to do some Zion at the 5? Are they going to do some other weird shit? I know they lost Jackson Hayes, so maybe there's an argument that Jonas's minutes are a little bit safer. But I would much rather go with Wendell Carter Jr., who is going to be out there. Like, the bigs behind Wendell Carter Jr. are Mo Wagner, and that's it. And so he's gonna play. That team's gonna be competitive, and he's good. Like, he's a 14-9 guy when he was out there. He just missed a little bit of time last year. So I really like Wendell Carter Jr. this year.
All right, so definitely a guy to keep an eye on in your drafts. As sounds like a guy that you would pull up a little bit too, if you felt like you needed to get a big. Dad has a question in the chat. Do you have a guy you think is the worst pick in drafts? Basically, worst pick ever. For him, it's Keegan Murray. He doesn't understand why he goes in the 7th round.
Man, I know. I have such mixed feelings with Keegan. He was pretty solid as a rookie, man. And if he takes a second-year jump and he becomes just like the third guy for Sacramento, like he starts out playing Harrison Barnes, I don't know. I kind of see Keegan, but I get what you're saying. It doesn't feel fun clicking him. Wow, the worst pick. I'm having a tough time. Actually, he just went. Numi just took Ben Simmons. I have a tough time clicking Ben Simmons' name. I just don't like. There's so much unknown. And I get the upside right there, right? You're getting him in the 9th round. And if he all of a sudden returns to form, you just get an all-star player in the 9th round. But God, it feels disgusting every time. Also, Tobias Harris. I'll throw Tobias Harris on that list. Never feels good to pick Tobias Harris.
It hasn't felt good to play Tobias Harris for the past 20 years, it feels like.
No.
It feels like when I was doing NBA DFS, like he'd end up on lineups sometimes, and I'm like, why do I have Tobias Harris on this lineup?
Yeah,
And
Tobias is one of those dudes where you play him and he sucks. If you don't play him, he goes off. Like you
yeah,
just can't get Tobias right.
sometimes you just can't get on the right side of guys, and that happens
Yeah.
way too frequently, and it is absolutely earth-shattering, tilting
Yeah.
to have that happen. So I totally understand that analogy as well.
It's been fun seeing too, like where rookies are going. I like Emin Thompson just went and a few picks ago, and I'm just enjoying watching people speculate on the rookies. Also,
That's
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's always a big thing with best ball drafts is where are people going to put the rookies? Are they overvaluing? Are they undervaluing them? And NFL, I think they're getting overvalued a smidge now,
Yeah.
but the NBA feels a bit different. I wouldn't really know how to evaluate the majority of the rookies in the NBA personally.
Yeah, I mean, like just Wemby being a top 20 pick just seems kind of nuts, even though I do think he's going to be good. I do like Scoot. Yeah, top stat in the chat was asking about Scoot. I do think, like, again, I'm of the mindset Dame is not going to play a game for Portland. And if that's the case, Scoot becomes a great pick, I think, because whether they're good or not, Scoot's going to be playing 30,
Volume.
35 minutes a game. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he looks
That's fair.
awesome.
And he has a great name.
It is a great name. I still
Had-
can't believe Charlotte didn't take him. Also, the Charlotte thing is so Charlotte didn't take him because they're like, we have LaMelo Ball, and now they're in rumors of being like a third team to trade for Dame. So like Dame would go to Miami and Charlotte would get Tyler Hero. It's like, what the hell? That's the same. Whatever. All right.
All right. So we're coming up on the clock. We currently have a 3-4-2 build.
I think we grab another guard here. Although I do like Okongwu, but I wonder if we can get him with the second pick that we have in this round. I like Jordan Clarkson or Benedict Mathurin here. Clarkson is pretty safe for Utah. He's going to be out there. He's a baller. Benedict Mathurin's in his second year. It's probably actually let's go
More
Mathurin.
upside.
Yeah, let's go Mathurin because the Buddy Hield sounds like he's going to be traded from Indiana, and that's going to open up more of Benedict Mathurin's positions of minutes. But then
And we have Doncic and Mitchell, so we probably want to shoot for more upside guys than safe plays would be what I would say.
Absolutely. And I think I'm taking Okongwu here if he's still there, if he doesn't get snagged. And because of that, so Okongwu is a solid defensive big who I usually don't take backup bigs, but I think Clint Capella gets traded midway through this season, and he's already playing 20 to 24 minutes a game in his backup role. And if Clint gets traded, now all of a sudden you get a nice little boost there. He's a big block and steal guy. Let's get Okongwu in there.
All right, so let's run through our roster real fast.
Yeah.
At guard, we have a 4-4-3. We have Luka, Donovan Mitchell, Derek White, Benedict Mathurin. At wing, we have Paula Boncharo. Did I say it right?
Caro, but it's okay. You do whatever you want. You're the host, man.
DeMar DeRozan, Andrew Wiggins, and OG Anunoby. We have Shangoon for a big with Wendell Carter and Okongwu as well. How are you feeling about the team as constructed?
I like it. I think we have a lot riding on Paulo Banchero, which I both like and stresses me out because we're like, oh yeah, he's definitely going to take a second-year leap, and it's like, well, you better fucking take a leap. So I think we probably try to. I think our guards. I mean, we still want to end up with another guard or two, but I don't think we need to take another big for a long time. And I think we just hammer some wings here.
Sounds good. I actually would love to hammer some wings right now. I am starving.
Oh yeah, and somebody James is asking about the new rules regarding resting star players. Yeah, I mean, James, in theory it's really good, but there's so many loopholes around all of it that, like, you know, LeBron can still rest, Steph can still rest. Anybody that's been injured in the last 3 years, anybody that's played a ton of games, like Kawhi is going to have no problem resting if he wants. I think the theory of it is good. I'm interested to see how much of an impact it actually makes.
Well, we know We absolutely know that Kawhi is going to rest one way or another.
Yeah.
It is built into him. He has a rest switch on the back of his body
I
that
know.
has to be flipped every, couple games.
He was at that Colorado State football game last weekend, and every single person made the same joke. Wow, you can get him to a Colorado game, you can't get him to a Clippers game.
I I mean, kind of funny, but I always hate that shit. Like it's like NFL player out shopping for groceries, and they're like, "Why isn't he in the training room learning
Yeah.
the?" It's like, dude, do you work 162 hours a
Yeah,
week? You can't
yeah.
do it.
The internet's the best.
Internet is bonkers, absolutely bonkers. Just the arguments you can get into there. Um, Dad says that people are still taking Porter Jr. WTF? The
Oh,
dude will not
wow.
play a game this year, guaranteed. Maybe his career is over.
Oh, yeah, he's done. That is, yeah, you wanna talk about the worst pick of the draft? That was it right there, Kevin Porter Jr. He is not playing another basketball game. Well, definitely not this year.
Hmm.
Was maybe that was an auto draft.
Oh, could have been. That does give you some players that you don't want, as I can tell you after drafting about 700 best ball, 600 best ball teams over the summer. We do have some auto drafts, and it's how I know, like, how I got exposure to certain players. God, who was I looking at the other day? I was looking, the backup quarterback for Tampa was on my
Oh,
roster.
good.
And I'm just looking at him like, okay, I definitely didn't draft him. I wasn't even drafting Baker Mayfield, never mind Kyle Trask at all.
Yeah.
So having Kyle Trask on a roster was interesting.
You never know when you need Trask.
Yeah.
Um, Mark, yeah, I consider Şengün to be kind of the tipping point of whether you need to take 4 or 3. Like, I think Şengün's good enough and productive enough that you don't need to take 4. But if I'm
Mhm.
picking after Şengün, I want 4 because I just want some shots on upside here. Like, because I don't trust that I have upside from the main one. But yeah, I agree. For the most part, I'm taking 3 there.
Gotcha. All right, we are going to be coming back on the clock in a second with a 4-4-3 build at the moment. Seeing a bunch of bigs actually at the
Yeah.
top of the queue right now.
Fuck those
Um,
bigs. What about let's see that with those Wangs.
all
I
right, so just on wings, we're looking at Hachimura, DeAndre Hunter, Patrick Williams, Dort.
Yeah, we do. I think so. I like Rui. I think Rui's going to play quite a bit. I also like Patrick Williams from the
Mhm.
Bulls. I know we were talking about like guys on the same team, but they don't really do the same thing. Maybe Kyle Anderson. We could throw him on that list too of queued up wings. I like Kyle Anderson, but I think I take Rui here first. I think I take Rui first.
All right, let's do that.
I also
We'll
think you
grab.
could make a case for Herb Jones here too, because Trey Murphy, who was stealing a little bit of Herb's time, is going to be out for the first 6 to 8 weeks of the season, I think. So,
So
but
with
I
our
go ahead.
current wing setup, do you think we need somebody with more upside, or are you looking for a safer play?
Nah, let's get some more upside here. Let's go. Let's get Patrick Williams. I think Patrick Williams is the upside play.
All right, let's do it. So
He's
that'll give us
flashed it
6
a couple of
wings.
times.
All right, so got 3 more picks in this draft with a 4-6-3 construction at the moment, with 2 absolute studs at guard. So
Yeah,
interesting to see how you want to land this plane.
I think what Mark brought up a good point. I think, and it's making me rethink a little bit with Şengün. Maybe we just do 3 bigs here. Let's just hammer
Mhm,
guards and wings the rest of the way out, because we've got some safety and security with Wendell Carter Jr. and Okongwu, and then we're hoping
mhm.
Şengün just turns into a monster this year. Um, so I think we can just try to hammer wings and guards the rest of the way.
All right, sounds like a plan to me.
James was asking where Reeves went. I know we looked at him for a second, but
He went right after we took Derek White, I believe.
that sounds right. Yeah, you're right. I think he was like the best available when we took White.
Yeah, so we took White, and Austin Reeves went right afterwards, which I was going to ask you about, but then we just didn't get to it. So
About which player?
About Reeves, why you would like Derek White over Reeves.
Yeah, I mean Reeves has been great. I think he's going to be solid this year too. And I guess you could make the same argument in the sense that like Reeves is playing fantasy wise behind AD and LeBron, and Derek White's doing the same thing with Tatum and Brown. But I think
Mhm.
White is going to handle. Actually, I don't know. They're probably similar plays. I just you know what? Fuck the Lakers, man. That's why.
Yeah, yeah, because we're from Boston. That's
Yeah.
what it is. We got to go down to the Jockey Cove and play
Yeah.
$15 poker for,
Yeah.
a salad and hot dogs or something. God,
But
I
for
don't.
James asking though, Reeves is he is a good play. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna continue on my Jockey Club analogy that only me and you will get.
Dude, I miss those days, man. I miss those days.
So funny story. I hadn't played like one of. I'll go play the charities that are around here
Mhm.
because the money's decent, but I don't play those tournaments at all anymore. And after I did decently in the World Series of Poker, all your friends start to play poker again and everything like that
Right, right.
because like they get hyped up. So Jesse actually called me one Sunday and he's like, "I'm gonna go play one of the bar poker events." And I'm like, "Why?" And I ended up going with him, and it is just as awful as you can expect. It is
Oh
a
man.
miserable experience.
I will say at that time of my life, what was going on, I'm very grateful for it. It kept me sane that I had something to look forward to. But
Yeah.
if there's not a shot in hell. Although I will still say that structure of the tournament that we ended up doing together, like the year-long thing to get to the World Series,
Yeah.
was dope. Like that was still like that's the coolest thing that's come out of it. Like I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. That actually just ended after I won it this season. So that's all gone.
Oh,
But
really? Was it an
yeah,
internal warfare?
I'll tell you about it off stream. I'll give you the dirt off stream on that. But yeah, so there might be one or two popping up soon. But
There we go.
yeah. Local poker can be fun, but it is not the same as playing in the bigger events. Just
Drama, baby.
so so much drama, so much drama.
All
But
right,
yeah,
let's see what we can find for some upside here. Jarris Walker, who was just taken, would have been a great pick. If we were gonna take another big, Time Lord is fun, but I like we should probably need another guard. What do we got for guards besides Brogdon?
so we're looking at like Anthony Black,
Let's
Caldwell Pope.
no, let's grab Bogdan right there, the Bogdanovich that I was talking about right there. I like him a lot.
All right, we'll
Um,
grab Bogdan.
we'll get Bogdan, and then here's a couple of fun ones I'll throw out in this round. I think Cam Whitmore as a wing is interesting. Because I think Houston's going to try to win, so I'm a little nervous about it. Nikola Jovic, if you think that Dame is going to Miami and Jovic is going to be in that deal, he looks pretty good for Serbia in the FIBA World Cup. I've been getting some of him late. If you want to wing, another guard, Anthony Black is the rookie from Orlando. We could get Brogdon as some like Derek White insurance if we wanted. This is pretty late for him, but
Well, Brogdon goes right there.
okay.
Um, well, with the guards that we have, with Luca, Mitchell, White, etc. Do you think that if we want one more guard, it would make sense to grab that guard in the last round
Yeah,
and
yeah, that's a
grab
good
our
point.
last wing now?
Yeah, I think that's right. And then I think we take Jovic here. I think if we're just shooting for upside, I think we take Jovic.
Which kind of feels right with a seventh wing, right? Like
Yeah,
at this point, that's
yeah, we're
kind
just
of
shooting for the moon.
right. And maybe if we inverse this and started with, I guess no matter what, with a seventh wing, I kind of probably would always want to shoot for the upside. I
Yeah.
guess.
And I would say if we had drafted like Giannis first, we'd be taking the Jovic equivalent in the guard position. But like you pointed out, because we have Luca and Donovan there, there's no need to go too wild.
Yeah.
And I agree with what Mark is saying here about Whitmore. He is it's not even too injured. It's that Ime Udoka and the Houston Rockets are trying to be good, and I think that is what's going to make it pretty tough. But and they don't have their first round pick, so there's no world in which they're tanking. So yeah, it's probably the right analysis right there from Mark.
Yes. So we are one pick away. We have a 5-7-3 build right now with Luka, Donovan Mitchell, Derek White, Mathurin, Bogdanovich at the guard position, Boncaro, DeRozan, Wiggins, Anobi, Hachimura, Patrick Williams, Nikolai Jovic, not Jokic, which is very confusing if you don't know what the hell's going on.
You're
Because when I saw the name, I had to double take it for a second.
like, what a
Shangun.
steal!
Yeah. How did they let this happen?
There's also another
Shang-
Serbian coming out of the draft, I think next year, Nikola Topic. So there's going to be a
Oh, good.
Jovic, a Jokic, and a Topic, all Nikolas.
Awesome. Everybody's going to be super excited about that. Shangun, Wendell Carter, and Okongwu as our bigs. And I think we're going to be done at the big position. Probably done at the wing, and maybe fire one more guard here to get a 6-7-3 build going.
Yeah. I like if Anthony Black, that rookie of Orlando. I mean, now's the time to take shots at those dudes. And I feel like Orlando has a trade to make that's going to include one of their guards. So whether that's Anthony Black going to another team, which I don't think is what would happen, it'd probably be Jalen Suggs or Cole Anthony. Then he jumps in. But there's so many guards in Orlando. So I don't know. I'm talking myself off that pick already.
You got to do that sometimes, though. You got to sit there. Even when you're not on stream, sometimes you just sit there and start talking about a player and like in your own like internal dialogue. And you're like, wait a minute, can't do this because blah, 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 blah. So I'm on that situation as well sometimes.
So do you think, Rob, you're going to start hammering these, or is this just like a one-off?
I don't think I'll hammer them, but I think maybe I'll try to get 10 to 20.
Yeah.
How long do I have? Like a month?
Yeah.
Or so?
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of curious. Like this happened last year, and I know it, or at least for the playoff, it ended up only being like a 25% or 20% overlay, 18% overlay, something like that.
Yeah.
I'm curious because right now it's at like 25% full. I don't know. And you got a month, and it's not like they're not going to be doing football contests. Like they are beating us over the head with football drafts.
Yeah. So for me, I do get a little burnt out once I'm done with the regular season drafting for NFL.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously not drafting basketball during that time, which is probably a gigantic leak.
Yeah.
Because you probably want to hit these early. But in terms of NBA best ball, I'm doing this underdog one, of course, but I'm going to look into drafters as well.
Nice.
See what they're offering, because drafters their interface is actually pretty good. I don't think I'm doing anything on DraftKings for NBA though. I think
their contest is super. It's 100K up top, which is cool, but it's super top heavy.
Yeah, I'm sure it makes sense for their general. Although they did a lot of really good flat payouts, to be fair. Some of their single and 3 entry max stuff for football were flat payouts, and it was really, really good. I think they had the best contest in general on that aspect.
Yeah. I'm going to throw, we're not going to take him, but for those paying attention, I kind of like Paul Reed as a late round dart throw there. They're talking about playing him at the 4 a little bit. I think that's kind of fun. All right. Anthony Black's still there, dude. I think we just take Anthony Black. We can see what other guards are there. I don't really like the upside on Quentin Grimes. Christian Braun, that was the other one I was going to bring up. He's supposed to slide into that Bruce Brown role for Denver. And so like, I think he could have a few spike weeks.
Preference?
Yeah, quick? I think let's go Anthony Black. Let's just go Anthony Black.
All right, so we'll go Anthony Black. So we get a Orlando Magic at every position.
Oh, good, dude. We're high on the Magic this year, man.
Yeah, we're gonna crush it with the Magic. So let's go over our final team here: Luka, Donovan Mitchell, Derek White, Mathurin, Bogdanovich, Anthony Black at guard, Boncharo.
Dude, whatever you want it to be.
Between whatever part of the country you're in, DeRozan, Wiggins, Anobi, Hachimura, and Patrick Williams and Nikolai Jovic as our wings, and then Shangun, Wendell Carter, and Okongwu as our bigs. What are your thoughts on our team?
I like that Mark bullied us into only doing 3 bigs. I like that. I think that was the right move. The Luka Donovan start is fun. I really like that start. And then I think our wings, we really need Paolo and DeMar to show out and then maybe get lucky with one of our late dart throws. But I like it. I mean, that Luka Donovan matchup is going to be fun.
Yeah, it seems like a fun pairing for 2 guards. anything you want to hit on before we jump out of here? Do you want to plug Team Hold? Do you want to say
Yeah,
what your general strategies have been?
sure. I'll drop a link into the chat too. So if you guys, I do a daily basketball show over there every morning at 9 o'clock, just kind of talking about whatever's been going on in the basketball space. We're gonna start a Friday happy hour show at 3 p.m. Eastern, starting not this Friday, but the not 2 weeks from tomorrow. That's going to be like doing some pick'ems, some like weekly drafts, best ball drafts, all that shit. So we're going to be doing that as well. And then like the last thing I'll plug too, we're doing a big 8-hour marathon stream the first day of the season. We just announced yesterday we're doing it from the So Rare Studios, and we get some fun like NBA media guests coming on. It's going to be a good thing. We're giving away some tickets, some league pass, some merch, shit like that. So that's kind of what we got going on over there.
Nice.
Yeah,
well,
man.
I have been excited to watch your channel grow throughout since it started. Been a big supporter of you. I appreciate you jumping on
Yeah, man.
with
Anytime.
me to help me learn some more about the NBA. But until next time, that's it for myself, for Mike Zakarian. We'll catch you later. Peace.
One. Liftoff.
Woo! Those were some spicy takes. Want to stay up to date with all of the other spicy takes we're going to have over here at Spike Week? Why don't you press that subscribe button below? You turn notifications on, we draft a team, boom, you know about it. We have another spicy take, boom, you know about it. You can be there. You can draft with us. You want to stay up to date? That's how you do it. All right, we'll catch you later next time here at Spike Week.